Hi everybody, I'm Cindy and I'm with Elevator Designs, and we're going to continue working on this Beach Bum Beach Vibe sign insert set. So if you happened to catch yesterday's live, we finished up the sandcastle and we started working on this square here, which is going to feature a palm tree, crab, sun. So let's continue on with that. Also, too, another element is going to have a sun, so I'm going to go ahead and paint that as well. And I think probably what I'm going to do, I really liked that light yellow combination I did on the summer sign, because I plan on doing all kinds of colors with the letters again. So I'm going to go ahead and mix some of my banana cream with some white. So let's start off the day with mixing colors. I hope everybody's having a good day. So I really want to make sure I mix up quite a bit because I am going to go ahead and paint that sign part. So, and we all know yellow is hard to cover. Takes several coats. I just want this to be a really, really pale yellow. So I think I'll start off by painting the sign first. Only if I happen to run out of yellow, I'd rather do it on the smaller suns. It's hard to get the same color twice when you're blending paints. Has anybody been watching any March Madness? Talk about some upsets yesterday. Wow. In Akron, they didn't do good. They didn't do good at all. And I didn't expect them to. Definitely out of their league. I wish they would have been in the NIT because they would have taken that. So, gotta say good luck to Kent. They play tomorrow night, which I will not be watching that game because it's too late for me. But I will be catching some basketball later on today. I actually think Duke is going to take it all, but we will see. I just know there's a few teams that I hope don't, but I won't mention them. See, this is just really, really blotchy. Not worried about the score lines. That's just there for placement purposes only. But I'm just going to go ahead and paint the entire sun. Now, if I do get them in these score lines, I will be digging them out. See, that's just so blotchy. So if I didn't say, I mix banana cream, which is really starting to become one of my favorite yellow colors, and just basic white. And I put more white than I did banana cream. So if you catch this after the fact, if you want to type in hashtag replay, let me know you're here. That would be wonderful. Also, too, due to the changes with Facebook, they only keep live videos 30 days. After that, they're automatically deleted. So I have started a YouTube channel. The name of the channel is Elevita Designs. I currently have 7 subscribers, and thank you to the people that have subscribed. I would love to get some more. So please go to YouTube, subscribe. All these videos are put on there immediately after I'm done, and I have them arranged by the series as a playlist, and I have them clearly marked which part is what, as far as part 1, part 2, etc. So it makes it really easy for you to follow. And I just like to be as organized as I can. I'm not doing too bad at getting it on the sides. I'd like to try and get one more coat. Maybe that will help with the blotchiness. And then what I'll do is I will go ahead and go around this with the banana cream. I'll shade it. It just adds a different look. It doesn't add any type of dimension or anything like that, but it just adds another color. It will brighten up this pale yellow. And because I'm going to do the letters in all different colors, and they're going to be pretty bright, it'll just help pull that together. Now, to answer your question, last week I had someone join and they asked me why I was using a sponge. I'm really an old school painter and I like using a brush, but with something like this, it just makes it easier to apply the paint. And if you do it properly and don't load up your sponge with a ton of paint and really blend it out, you won't have those marks like you would with a brush. So that's the reason why I use a sponge. And I can just cover more area quicker. But honestly, I much rather use a paintbrush. Like I said, I'm old school. So the tool I'm using to dig out my score lines is just something I got from the Dollar Tree. It's cheap. It comes in two different variations as far as thickness for the end, and I find that I use the smaller one the most. But for a buck, it does the job, and hey, so that's what I would recommend. There's all kinds of tools out there. You just kind of got to figure out which one works best for you. Lots and lots of gadgets. And I think I'm going to put one more coat on here. Somehow I got water on there. I don't know how. And this is going to have a good enough coat. I mixed up way too much paint. But I'd rather have too much than not enough. However, I did not use a gallon of paint. You can get bottles of the Decor paint. Now, not all colors. I mean, the selection is very limited. But you can get them at Hobby Lobby for 99 cents a piece. And honestly, that's a pretty good price. And I use strictly Decor paints. I like the way they go on. And somehow, I just like the way they go on. It's a good product. And I highly recommend them. I'm not getting paid to say that. They probably don't even know that I recommend them, but it's just a good paint. And I think since I have so much paint left over, I'm going to paint that yellow stripe too while I'm at it. Why not? One of the suns is actually going on a surfboard that you glue over top of this. So that'll kind of just tie those yellows together. I have my little helper up here today. But we got this surfboard, and it's going to have some waves, and then just glue the sun right here is my thought. You don't have to if you don't want to. But I know a lot of surfboards have waves and sun. Good morning. And then I'll go back and put just the regular banana cream. I'll probably float some shading on there. And I don't know if there's enough room to even bother doing the tips white. So I probably won't do that step this time around like I normally do. And hopefully that's good enough. We'll see. Hello. So now I'm just going to take the banana cream and I'm going to do the centers, but I'm going to go ahead, well, that's still a little bit wet. I'm going to go ahead and go around the outside of that sign part. And I'll probably take the antique gold and go around the inside. Float some shading. I'll use a smaller brush, but it'll just add a different look to the sun. coat. There's just a slight area that's kind of suspect. We'll get some floating done on here. I think the last time I did was one time, so hopefully I can get away with that today. I'm just patting, and then once I do that, I just go and do one big swoop. And that kind of just blends everything together. Then I'll go back and do it on the other side as well. But you have to let this dry before you can do the shorter sides. And I have way too much water on my brush, which is nothing new. Now see that side, I don't feel I got as wide of a float. So I think I'll go back and try and see if I can widen it a little bit. Pretty easy. I'm going to do the same for this, but I'm going to have to wait, do one side, come back and do the other, because the area just isn't wide enough. Well, I might be able to get away with, now that I look at it, I might be able to get away with doing the other side. We will try it. What that does is it's not going to create any type of dimension. It just adds a different color and creates a different look. And this is still too wet. So it's going to be a bark fest today. So I'm apologizing in advance. The farm hands are here and they're bringing and taking away cows. So it's a busy day on the farm. See if this is dry enough. It looks like it, so we'll try. I don't expect too many people on today. Saturday's seems to be another artist's day to go live, and she's got a great following. She's a wonderful artist, and I don't expect too many people to be on. But we'll keep going with it. Here. Alright. So the color I want to use to shade is antique gold. And it's pretty dark. So I really want to try and get this blended. Because I don't want it too dark. The antique gold sometimes seems to be a little bit darker than what I want. And then too, you have to use a smaller brush. So therefore, you know, your brush is not going to hold that much paint nor water. So I'm just trying to use the appropriate brush, and I have it tilted a little bit just so it doesn't happen to touch the paint that I just put on and wipe it off. Now that could be a little bit wider, but I'm going to stick with that for now. I miss not having that white on the edges. I don't know, I might have to try and add some white. Then I'm just going to do the same thing here. And I didn't get that blended enough. All right, start again. And it's going to try and blow up a storm today. So, hopefully I can get a lot accomplished before that happens. Because last Saturday it was brutal here. I definitely know I want this wider, but sometimes it's hard to get a wider float, especially in such a small area, at least for me, because I'm tilting my brush. And I think something I'm going to do, we'll see how this goes, is just maybe make one side a little bit wider and then come back and just leave the other side a little narrow. That'll create a little bit more interest. So I kind of like that. I kind of like how the one side is a little bit, it has more shadow on it. Yep, I need to do some whites on the tips, and that might be tough because I don't have a whole lot to work with. Try my best not to go over the center. And because this yellow is so light, it might be even tough to even see this. But I'm gonna try. Just something about putting white on the tips of the sun kind of just changes the way it looks. You might not be able to see it that well, but in person it definitely looks different. So like I said, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it does change the look somewhat. Okay. Now, I know I want to paint the coconuts, cocoa. And I'm almost out of this color. I use it quite a bit, so hopefully I have another bottle somewhere. I know I'm almost out of banana cream. However, Hobby Lobby carries both these colors, so that's a blessing. And they're usually in stock. I just hit the tips of those starfish. Only because I want a different color. I need to paint these eyeballs white. So since I have the white out, then I need to go back and do the circle inside the circle with black. And that's going to take a couple coats. And while I'm at it, I'm going to take this little white yellow mixture that I created. Let's see, I think. And I'm just gonna float a little highlighting on the tips of the coconut. Then definitely need to do a little shading, so I think I'll take the milk chocolate. See if I can shade around those coconuts a little bit. Hopefully this will be dark enough. It's pretty minimal. I might have to pick a different color and darken it up. We'll see. Yeah, that's not dark enough. So I'll try some burnt umber. But I really want to blend this because it's pretty dark. I don't know how I feel about that little highlighting. Probably should have chose a different color. I'm just gonna shade around that. Should have done a better job. All right, let's try and work on this crab. I think I want to go around these shorter edges just one more time. Okay, to highlight this crab, I'm going to use the Neon Fiery Red, and I need to put it on oh so sparingly. It's bright. Does it fade? Yes. But if you put too much on from the get-go, it's not a fade. So I kind of just want to do the tips of his claws. Kind of like both sides of his body. At the outside edge. And I'm trying to be oh so careful because I don't want it too bright. I need to go back around his body. Well, that's a little bit brighter than what I wanted, but it is what it is. See if I can get the tips of his toes. And that's about it. And I'm going to take the black plum and I'm just going to go at the bottom of his claws and hopefully I can do a small line underneath his body onto his legs. We will see. I hardly have any paint on there. Need to go just a little bit more than that. This color is so dark and bold that I sometimes shy away from how much paint I put on my brush. See if I can get just a little more shadow. All right. We're gonna paint his eyes, and I think this portion is good to go. It's just a matter of gluing everything together. So I'm just gonna use a script liner brush. And And I like to just kind of pat my paint on, especially with such a small area. You know, pushing it out towards that score line. Trying to keep that circular shape the best that I can. That's what works for me. It takes a little bit longer, but you know, once you start putting black on top of white and you go out of that area and you start messing up your circle, you're fighting to get it back. So, like I said, this is what works for me. And I kind of just like, when I'm applying my paint on, I start in the middle and then kind of, that way the majority of the paint is in the center of that area, and then I just kind of push it out. And then I'll let that dry real good, and then I'll go back and see if I can put a teeny tiny dot. I think I need to get closer on that one area. Okay. And I need to find if I have a really tiny stylus, which I do. And you want fresh paint when doing this. And I should have dipped my stylus back in, and I did not, so that's what I get for being dumb. All right, good enough. So let's start gluing all of this together. And then before I start on the next element, I will have to empty my water. And I'm just gonna stick the glue on these little claws and pray to God I get them lined up. Because this little crap is delicate. Ooh, I moved that on my own and I didn't want to. I might not have enough glue on there, we'll see. Probably should have glued the eyes on first. That ain't too bad. And it doesn't take a whole lot of glue. The more glue you put on, the more chances it's gonna slide around. And I think this file is going to come with 3 starfish. I just cut out extra because that's kind of what I like to do. So I'm going to have one over here. You don't have to put these on at all. Well, the one you do. Put it up there. And that's that. And then this bigger sun, you're going to glue it onto the square. So that's what that's for. That is way much glue. Whoa. And this only goes on one way. And one way only. So, that's where we're at. I like it. Very tropical. So we got the sandcastle and we got the palm trees with the little adorable crab. So what we have left is a beach ball and some surfboards. And then paint the squares and the lettering. And this will be done. So, pretty cute. Now I know I'm gonna put this, I believe, on a blue background. I said this one a blue, you know. But I want to portray, because there's one of my squares. How I created this was, you know, for it to go pretty much at the bottom. Okay. So, you know, I wanted to portray, and here's the sun. You just, you know, glue it up there. That you're at the beach. So I'm really, you know, this is the sky, the ocean, however, you know, you could actually paint it two different colors of blue, you know, to kind of give the illusion that, you know, you've got water behind here and then you got the sky. It's actually up to you. But I wanted to give the illusion, you know, sunny day, you're at the beach. So this will definitely be painted blue, the square. This one I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe purple. We will see. So with that being said, I'm going to empty my water and then I'll come back and we can start on, we'll do the surfboards next. And I think I'm going to stick with like blue and pink. Maybe some purple, we'll see. So hopefully you stick around. what I think I decided was I'm going to actually paint the top of this a lighter blue and then go with a darker blue on the bottom for the waves. So I'm going to paint the top part spa blue. So this will just kind of be a two-toned blue surfboard. And I'm just going to kind of lightly go over these waves, and I'll get more detailed with the other color. And then something I also thought about while I was emptying my water, you know, if you purchase the summer sign insert, I mean, you can intertwine some of this stuff. You know, what you consider beachy and summery is up to you. So if you had both DIY kits or you bought the files, you could intermix. Just a thought I had. So then I'm going to use the shoreline blue. To paint the bottom. And if this doesn't end up being dark enough for me, enough of a contrast, then what I might switch to is a color called Bahama Blue. We'll see once this all dries. I mean, it's definitely darker, but it's more of a green blue. So I don't know. I think there'll be enough variation. Kind of missed my mark there a little bit. There's enough variation, I think, to make a difference. So I'm just going to stick with it. This paint is drying fast, fast, fast. It's really thickening up quick. And then, like I said, I'm going to put this little sun on there. So, I had an oops moment. Hopefully, I can fix that. We'll see. But that's just something different. I am going to go back and highlight the tip of this with the color I believe is Cool White. So I'll go ahead and highlight around there. But I won't do any type of shading or anything like that. I won't even try and do anything with the waves. It's just kind of too small. And then something else I thought about too You could actually put starfish on here if you wanted. And I'll probably take some of those extra starfish that I have and glue them on here. And I'm just using sand to paint the sand. And of course I'll go back and highlight with some white. Excuse me. Not really sure what color I want to paint this other surfboard. I thought about the sea breeze. Let's do it. Now the next thing we'll be working on, excuse me, is a 4th of July design for my interchangeable bench. And then I have a 4th of July design for my interchangeable window. So that's what we'll be working on. I need to go down a little bit further. And then I'm currently working on a fall fence peeker, and it's going to be pretty darn cute. I absolutely love my fence peekers. It's a decent sized display, but it's very unique, and put a lot of thought in that design, and I absolutely love it. And I've sold quite a few SVGs, and I'm starting to sell quite a few DIY wood kits for those. So it's definitely something you'd want for your home. Now the highlighting color for this is Cool White, which I'm going to use on here as well. So and I think I'm gonna, since I have so much of this paint out, I'm going to use this instead of the Sweet Mint and paint this beach ball. I am an overachiever with loading my brush today, putting way too much paint out. I'm going to stick to the same colors that I pretty much used on a beach ball, except for I did change his color. But I'm going to change where I put the colors at a little bit. I'll keep the yellow and the peach where they are, but these bigger areas I'm going to change up. Like I said, I put way too much paint out. Not a half a cup, but too much. So, we'll take that cool white. And we'll do a little highlighting at the top of these surfboards. And I might as well highlight the sand as well, because I usually use white anyhow. So I'll just use the cool white. I don't think it'll make much of a difference. And I will use a desert sand to sand underneath there. I mean, shade. Now the shading color for this green is that color I absolutely do not like. But I have to do something, so I don't know. That color is that bluegrass green. And it's just, I don't know, it's just too bright for me. It's too bold. But I am going to shade this yellow with that banana cream. Hopefully I can get just a small float. Need to make that a little bit wider. All right. Move on to my favorite color here. I might be able to get away with that. See if I can mellow it out a little bit. Well, that's not too bad. Oh, I need to go around the sand too. Ugh. Okay. Didn't even think about that. Alright, hopefully that's close enough. We will see. Not too bad. Part of me feels like I need to try and shade behind this sand pile onto the waves. Not sure what that shading color is. Well, that's that turquoise, and that's pretty minimal. So, alright, we'll go for it. And I just remember that's pretty hard to see. I'm just putting some desert sand on each side of this surfboard, just to kind of create a shadow. It's going to be pretty minimal. Way too much water. I don't know, just something about those waves, just, I don't know. I just feel like there needs to be some type of color there. I mean, the shading color is Bahama Blue, and I personally am not seeing that. I'm just not. So I'll tell you what I think I'm going to do. Because this surfboard just needs a little something. I don't know what. I'm going to really go down the whole one side. And try and lighten it up. I just can't see. I don't know. I don't even know if I dry brushed it and then painted back over this. Okay, what do I have to lose? What do I have to lose? Let's try it. Because just something, I don't know what it is. So either be winner winner chicken dinner or or an epic fail. So I mean there's no ifs, ands, or buts. I'm gonna have to go over this color. Can barely see it. All right. I think probably a smart idea would be is maybe if I took some white and a liner brush and just maybe did a white line. Because it just, to me, and this is just, you know, how I'm seeing it, is I feel that it's all blended together. And I know the highlighting color for the shoreline is the Spa Blue. So, that I know. So let me try and water down some of this cool white. I can see it a little bit, so I'm just getting too fussy, I think. See if I can get a little bit lighter on this side. And then I'm gonna wrap this square up. And glue it together and call it good. But while that's drying, I'm gonna go ahead and paint some of this beach ball. I'm gonna use purple petal. I'm just putting way too much paint on my brush today. If you're going to put a whole lot of paint on your brush like I just did there, you want to move that paint quickly. Get it spread out. Because if not, that's where you get your brush strokes. And it just, to me, it doesn't look good. Water is your friend when it comes to painting. It really, really is. So I'm going to do the bigger square, this bubblegum pink. I'm pretty much using the same colors that I've used in the past on my beach ball, except for that green. But I'm changing the placement of the colors. Mixing it up this time. I might even put this on that spa blue, which is that lighter blue. I'm not for sure. I might even switch that blue to turquoise. Something different. I don't know. So I did switch up that blue and I'm making it turquoise just for something different. I'm using different colors this time around. And once I put my shading on here, it's gonna really change the look of this beach ball. I think I'm pulling off the paint. All right. So while that's drying, I'll go ahead and glue this on here. Like I said, it doesn't take a whole lot of glue. That's actually too much, but and then you can just put your sun wherever you like it. And let's see, I do think I'm gonna put a couple starfish. Why not? I just will add a different look. I didn't plan it that way, but like I said, I cut extra, and why not? I even have another one that I could put right there, but That might be overkill. I think the other one was overkill, but I can't remember it now. That one blue area just doesn't want to cover very good. Okay. All right, 2 more colors. Do the banana cream. And then do that coral shell. And this beach ball will be done except for the shading. And the white center. try and do a little shading. Hopefully I can get away with it, because my water is a mess. I don't know. I might have to go empty it. It's pretty bad. So I'm going to use lavender to shade the purple. I have a hair, so let's see if I can go back over this. I have that hair. I don't know where it came from. That's a bolder line than what I wanted, but when you go over it numerous times, that's what happens. Okay, I'm gonna try turquoise blue. First as my shading color for turquoise. And if it doesn't work out, then I'll go with the desert turquoise. I don't know if it'll be much of a difference. Tell me I didn't do that. I'm getting okay. Gonna have to fix that. So dirty today. And that is not good. Oh, that ain't good. I'm struggling with floating today. Not good. Yeah, I'll put another coat on here and see what it looks like. I might have to switch to that desert turquoise. We'll see. And that blue is darkening up, but just not as much as what I would like. But I'm not going to give up yet. I get to use my favorite color, one of my favorite colors, on the pink. That royal fuchsia. Honestly, that's not too bad, except for I didn't get close enough to my line. Which is gonna mess me over. That might work. A little bit darker on this one side. All right. That turquoise just isn't cutting it for me. Or the turquoise blue. So, we will try the desert turquoise. It's definitely a different shade. Too many paints out here. Okay, I'm going to use the antique gold for the yellow. And the coral blush on the coral shell. I don't know how I feel about changing these colors around, the position of the colors. I guess I'll know better once I put that white on, but definitely it makes a difference. So it's amazing how that takes place. How just moving a couple colors around can really change the way something looks. Pretty interesting. Okay, how long have I been on here? 2.5 hours. All right, I'm gonna try and get away with painting the center of this white, and then I'm going to wrap it up for today because I did want to go over 2 hours, and I did. And then I might come on tomorrow, or maybe even later on today. I don't know. It's only 11:30. So it's still early yet. Got some things I need to do, but come On later, paint the lettering, paint the squares, and put this all together, and it's actually done. So anything's possible. I know this white's going to take several coats. And maybe painting the center will pull everything together and make me change my mind. About rearranging the colors around. You know, the saying is, if it ain't broke, you know, it wasn't broke. Hi, Christine. How are you? Thank you for stopping in. And the thing too, it might be, you know, I changed that blue. And that might have a lot to do with it too. So, I don't know. Yeah, this is going to take several coats. Because there's definitely a big difference between the shoreline blue and the turquoise. I need to put one more coat on there. And those colors will be covered up. But this is kind of where we're at. Ended up not being as bright as what I anticipated, you know, because of, you know, the palm tree. I know I used a different type of green than I did before. I think I used the Hauser greens. So I think that made a huge difference with this. And I know you can't see, but I really got to think about what colors I'm going to paint these squares. Maybe once I put these on the squares, it'll kind of brighten everything up. I don't know. And I didn't wish my cousin a happy birthday the other day. So to my cousin Judy, happy belated birthday. I hope you had a wonderful day. So, you know, that's where we're at. And I might even, you know, like I said, I'm gonna put these on. I'm gonna put this on blue. I'm not using that color of blue. I'm gonna stick with my shoreline blue. I know that I'm going to put this, I believe, on purple. I think that will really make it pop. So I'm gonna do that purple petal. Because if you kind of just like look, when you put that on there, you know, that goes really nicely. This, I don't know. Maybe the orange. I could even do pink. This is going to be the blue. And then this, I don't know. We will see. Hello. So, like I said, all I have left now is to do the squares, decide what colors I'm going to paint them, and then the lettering. And I'm going to make the lettering multicolored because I really like that look on the summer sign. And that'll help bring in more color to this as well. Because this is the beach and it's bright and that's kind of what I was after, so. Anyways, to the people that come on late, I'm sorry, but I'm actually getting ready to wrap this up. I may be back on later today. If you like my page, then you'll get a notification that I'm live. So until next time, thank you for stopping in. Take care. Bye-bye.